Yeah, there's a lot of racism in real estate for sure, like an unbelievable amount. Specifically with like landlord tenants. So I remember I was talking to this guy in the Ironbound,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Oh, find me a tenant." And we really don't do a lot of rentals, but I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll find you a tenant." And the guy was like, "Yeah, but no Brazilians. You know, the Brazilians don't pay rent." Meanwhile, I'm a Brazilian, and there's just blatant racism. So like, complete racism at next level from when landlord to tenants is complete racism. There's no arguing. There's no like, oh, maybe this is not true. It's
Right.
blatantly fact.
Yeah.
So those situations, and even the home buyers do the same racist things. They'll say like, "Well, I don't want to be in that area." When they say the area, they really just mean like, "I don't want to be in an area where there's like black people or brown people." That's what they mean, and they'll say that's not what they mean. And you think it's like the white person being racist against a black person? It's not true. This is sometimes the case, not really. It's actually just racism against everybody with everybody.
Today we're here with Brendan De Silva, who is a local realtor and help find.
No, you,
Dude.
yo, we can relax on the nerves, all right?
That's cool.
My fault.
No stress.
Watch out, the clock may tick and your life's over. Choosing to be happy takes weight off your shoulder.
No, because we saw the number one realtor thing, and we were dang. I was like, yeah, number one realtor in Newark. I was like, dang.
Sell a lot of houses for sure.
Yeah.
But what did I help find? You're saying I'm just curious. I'm glad I know.
Basically,
Oh.
the intro is
Mhm.
help families find their perfect home in Newark.
Oh yeah, it's all good. Sounds
Yeah.
Today we're here with talking a local realtor who's helped find families a perfect home in Newark, who's also a man of faith, um, also a surfer, and an educational content creator about real estate. Welcome, Brendan De Silva.
How did you know the surfing? Oh, thank you.
Whoa.
How did you know the surfing?
Let's just say we did a little.
Yeah. Oh, I did just make a post.
Yeah.
that's good, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I like
did.
that.
No,
little
we do.
digging, you
We do
know?
tend to pay
Hardcore
attention.
creeped. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I do like to surf.
Do you surf often?
I got into it like last January, and it's become like pretty like central to my day to day. Not my day to day, maybe my week. So whenever there's surf, I'll just go in the morning. You get to the beach at like 5:30.
Right.
Surf for an hour and a half, 7 o'clock. All right, sorry, yeah, 7 o'clock. Get ready, you're in the office by 8:39. So you can actually do like the whole thing in the morning.
You never been afraid of the water? Because I know I've had a lot of close calls too.
No, the water will kill you. I think the ocean's like the most powerful thing in the world.
For sure.
But so my goal is I just go like on small wave days.
Right.
So if you just go on the small days, you're fine.
I mean, how can you tell between? Like,
No, there's
big
actually
wave
an app.
days?
There's literally an app.
There's an app?
So there's an app for everything in life, especially for surfing. And it's been around for like 40 years actually.
What?
Like not 40 years, 20 years. Sorry, 20 years. So since before the iPhone was a iPhone, like the web, like internet came out, there was like a website called Surfline, and it tells you everything you need to know. But yeah, so that's surfing.
Dang.
Dang.
You
True.
learn something new every day.
On everything.
So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, pretty much simple. I'm 31 years old. I was born and raised in Jersey. It's very poor Brazilian immigrant parents, and through a very long journey, I ended up finding myself with no other option in life. I graduated college. My life fell apart. Went to jail for 6 months. After that, I couldn't get jobs. So then I went to real estate. I couldn't get employed. When I couldn't get employed, I got into real estate. That was about 9 years ago. And since then, I grew one of the largest like real estate teams in the state of New Jersey for sure. And we sell about 200 houses a year. And then we flip properties, invest, all that good stuff. And I'm a father and dad of two. And like along the way, it's been a very fun journey.
Wow. Can you dive into like, how you got to that point where like you had to go to jail?
Yeah. So basically, no, it's good. So I would recommend this. I basically was at a party and in college, and I was being very promiscuous, and I had like charge brought against me in the party.
Right.
And I went through like a 1.5 year legal battle when I was going into my senior year of college. So it's basically like halfway through my junior semester. Sorry, I guess going to my spring semester of my junior year, and that would go on to like a 1.5 year legal battle. I ended up graduating on time, I will say. Humble flex. I did graduate on time, but I did just nuclear like self-work, a lot of that stuff, but I had a public defender. So hopefully no one here ever goes to jail. But if you do go to jail, make sure you do not get a public defender. Or at least maybe you find like a really good public defender who cares a lot about you. But yeah, it's very tough. So yeah, I ended up taking a plea deal and did 6 months on misdemeanor time. I graduated May 7th. I was like best man at my best friend's wedding May 17th, and then May 27th. So it was all sevens, which was like kind of crazy. Yeah. I always thought, I ended up doing 6 months. But then when I got out, you really couldn't find a job. It was very tough. So I ended up like waiting tables, made some good money. But then my friend was like, hey, you should try to be a realtor. Right. I was like, oh, I'll try. And then 9 years later, here I am.
And would you say that experience was the turning point in your journey?
So I grew up in a very dysfunctional home where there was a lot of conflict and, a lot of conflict. And we grew up in like the church world, right? The evangelical church world. But we didn't really, for me personally, it wasn't for me. Like I would go to church high, I would smoke weed at church camp, like all that stuff. It wasn't for me. Finally, when I'm like 17, I have this great turning moment of my life. I come to Jesus. Oh my God, this huge thing happens. Unfortunately, just because I don't know what faith you guys practice, but just because like you have a saving moment with Jesus, you still have like deep character defects. Yeah. Right. One of my character defects is I did not listen. And I learned a very valuable lesson in life. If you do not listen to the people who know what they're talking about, you will suffer. The expression goes like a hard head makes for a soft butt because life punishes you. Spank, spank, spank. So yeah, that was definitely a turning point. Not like that, the jail aspect of it. That really wasn't like the thing. It was more so the social rejection. Because like the framework is like I was going to college to be a pastor. I was going to be a missionary in Russia, like when my whole life imploded, right? So when my whole life imploded, it was very telling because I had so much like I was basically building up this like, oh, that's Brendan. He like you guys seeing me now as the realtor guy, the real estate guy. Yeah. I had a similar aspect of like respect as like, oh, that's the guy, like the Christian guy, right? Blah blah blah. And that's like a really good guy. So then when I got accused of all this stuff, my life went downhill. I ended up losing all that. And what you find is this expression, right, if you live by the opinions of others, you'll die by the rejection, right? So I really had an ego death during that time. And I would say that was a turning point. It was when you're young, you have like the luxury of like, oh, I'm young and free and I want to just be wild and free. Because I had like that hardship when I was 22 and like 20 to 22 years old, I didn't really have that. Like I got out of jail and I was like, I got to go work. And I was just like locked in. And that really forced me to do a lot of counseling, a lot of therapy, right? Get Christian mentors, pastors, etc., older men who took me under their wing. Yeah. And what like a lot of my friends now, I'm 31, they're in their 30s, their life is like falling apart. My life fell apart at 20, so I get to like live a life that no one else really can when I'm 31. So, the expression goes from a guy named Dave Ramsey. It's like you have to live like no one else does today so you can live like no one else can tomorrow. Right? So I like suffered hardcore when I was 22, but it was a turning point in me doing a lot of inner work, of me getting really a lot like deeper in my character. I couldn't like the people rejected me. So it's like when people reject you, you got to really see like, okay, if that's what you're building your identity off of, you're kind of smoked. So eventually they're going to reject you, whether it's 20 or 40, they're going to reject you. Right? The people, the peer groups, they're going to reject you. You're going to say something that's not popular. You're going to mess up your life. You're going to make mistakes. So when that happened, I lost like respect of everybody. So then it was like a big turning point because I felt like God came in deep and it was like, hey, I got you. Like you're good. And then at the same time, those who were really true deep friends, honestly, mainly my immediate family, my mother, my father, my brothers, like 2 or 3 or 4 close friends, those are the friends I'm like still friends with today. And really during that time, it was a very clear indicator of like, okay, what does it actually mean to have a friend? You only know if someone's your friend when like they actually shouldn't be your friend. When there's like actually no framework, it's like, no, you're actually like bad. And it's like, they still hold you down? It's like, wow, that's blessed, right? And that's the big turning point.
Do you think that if that turning point didn't happen, do you believe that you would have came around after that?
No, you want to hear my honest opinion? I think like the best thing that can happen is your life like implodes when you're young. Like the younger you are and your life just gets nuked, the better. Because I think the character defects I had right? I didn't listen to people, so I got in trouble. Right? I put myself in situations to get in trouble, rather. I think if I went to be a missionary in St. Petersburg, I probably would have like started a big church,
Right.
right? And church probably would have been really nice, and people would like to come, and but then I probably would have had like an affair on my wife at 37, right, or like 35. Like this, we hear these things happening all the time.
Yeah.
You never hear someone who like, wow, their life was really wrecked, and God did an amazing work, and then they go and wreck their lives again. Very rare. It's usually, wow, this big guy, oh my gosh, he's an amazing governor. Scandal. But if you can just scandal when you're like 18 and just kind of get it out of the way
Yeah.
and just learn from it, like it's a really great way of just like saving yourself later pain.
So do you feel like building from the ground up when you're 18 is better than like building up from the ground up when you're older?
I think the best way is that you don't have to build from the ground up, and you have like a two-parent household that they build you up, and you come from generations of stability and marriage and like unification and like good financial planning. That's the best way.
Right.
But unfortunately, that's like 1 out of 100 people now.
Yeah.
So because that's 1 out of 100, or whatever the stat is, I think, no, it's hard to say the best way because life is not so binary. It's not like black or white. It's like maybe it is the best way for you in your context, but for others, it may not be the best way. For others, maybe at 21, they're so mentally fragile that they literally would die. So like, okay, maybe they should get some more stability, and maybe they should, right? So there's a lot of factors.
Yeah.
So it's each his own.
Okay.
And could you tell us if there was maybe a specific person, or was there someone who actually helped you up when things were tough?
Oh, I have like 20 people. Like, I'm the most fortunate guy in the world. Yeah, I feel like immeasurably blessed. I have my wife who held me down.
Yeah.
I wasn't dating her when I got arrested, but when I got out a year later, I was still working a lot of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and she was really like loving and kind. She was incredible. My mother like would visit me every single month. Insane. You only allowed it. Watch the story. It's crazy. We were only allowed a 15-minute visit, right? 15 minutes. It was crazy. And not even like in the movies where it's like an open kitchen. It was glass. So you get 15 minutes. And my mom, her car broke down. So she took a bus from Rutherford to Manhattan, from Manhattan down to Richmond, from Richmond, another bus to Lynchburg, where I was being held, and then Uber from the bus stop to the motel, because my mom's Brazilian, she wanted to look good, washed up, took another Uber from the motel to the jail, then there's a whole thing in reverse, doesn't spend the night, just I'm out of here. 30 plus hours of travel to see him for 15 minutes.
What?
So it just is like, yeah, I'm immeasurably fortunate. Yeah, I have, and not to mention pastors and close, male friends who really pulled me up, and just I'm incredibly fortunate, incredibly. Wow. Yeah, it's really incomprehensible.
Wow. And I wanted to ask, what kind of like, since you put, I know on your Instagram you say, the #1 realtor. What kind of standards does the real estate have to, like, so you can say that you're the #1 realtor?
That is a great question, because some people are flexing and they're not #1. Okay, let's be truthful. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a great question, for sure. 5 years in a row we've been #1. There's two metrics.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So there's two worlds of real estate. There's like residential. It's like a nice house, mom, dad. You guys all live in an apartment, I would hope, or a house, right? And then there's second, which is like commercial. Commercial is like this building. This is a school, right? We're in a school, but it's a technically commercial building. What's commercial? It's not used for really housing,
Right.
like 1 to 4 families, right? Like 4-family apartment, right? You ever see those? Or 2-family, right? 2 apartments, 1 house.
Yeah.
So that's residential. So that's the first thing. So we're technically, I lie, we're the #1 team for residential sales in Newark. That's #1. Okay. With that said, still #1. And you count that 2 ways. You count that in both the quantity of the houses you sell. So how many houses are sold?
Right.
How many transactions are you involved with? That's the #1.
Okay.
So how many points do you get? How many buckets do you get, right? And now #2 is how cool are the buckets? So let's say you sell, a lot of people, they sell 100 houses, but the houses are cheap. They're like $300,000.
Right.
So, okay, in total, that's 30 million. It's good. 30 million volume, you make like probably 600,000. We do much higher houses. So we sell, our average price point is 500 and let's call it 600. So if someone sells 100 houses for 300,000 and we sell 50 houses for 600,000, we're technically tied. But who's the number one team? The one that did 100 transactions.
Right.
So it goes by transactions and volume. You can be number one in volume, but not in transactions, and vice versa. We are number one in both.
That's really good.
Yes, very cool. Honestly, it's kind of crazy.
It is. Considering how many realtors there are out in the world.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
thousands. Yeah, but we sell about
Newark.
80 houses, 75, 80 houses a year in Newark, and that's it's a pretty big deal because there's 1,200 real estate transactions that take place every year in Newark. So we sell like one in, I don't know the math there. One in like 15 houses sell with us. One in 17 houses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I definitely wanted to say it's a competitive market to be in and all that. And it was low-key more of a bold statement that I saw when you said number one realtor. And I was like, that's kind of crazy. But now that you've explained it to me, I do understand a lot more.
Yeah.
And what do you think are the qualities or characteristics this team or maybe person would have to get to where you are?
If you have family in the business, that are a massive advantage. Massive. But the characteristic someone you have above all else is grit. Grit. So grit, like GRIT, it's not like, hey, I did something for a year. I'm like, and it's not that you have it or don't have it. We all have grit, right?
Yeah.
It's just how much grit do you have? There's a really good book by Angela Duckworth. It's called Grit, literally. She like studies like all this stuff. And she says like the number one factor in how you determine grit is not just passion. It's like people are like, oh, I'm so passionate about real estate. You've been doing real estate for 2 years. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you are passionate about it. But when people interview with me, like, I love real estate, it's all I do. I'm like, you're 22, you've just started. Like, do this for 40 years, and then you can say you have grit. So for me, I have grit. Like, that's the number one thing I'd say. I just am like, I will do real estate till I die. And when I think I won't do real estate, it's kind of like a fantasy. It's like, oh, I think I'm gonna it's like a fantasy life. Like I have a wife and 2 kids, and sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I love my kids, I love my wife. I'm like, maybe I should just go to the beach and just surf all the time and have no responsibilities. It's like clearly that's not real, right? Like I'm gonna be with my wife and my kids for the rest of my life. So it's the same thing when like you're building a business. I have grit. Like every decision is a lifelong decision. Every deal decision, right? Am I gonna screw that person over? Because I have grit. It has to be a great decision for 50 years. Every decision. Yeah.
I know you speak very passionately. I heard you say that when you said 300K was cheap for a house, that kind of struck me. So I know there's a lot of like new houses being built, and I see them, they go for 700K, and now there's like a housing crisis. Like, when you see that, or I don't know if you have, if you did, but if you have seen that, like, what are your thoughts on it? And then or do you do things to maybe help lower that?
No. So yeah, it's tough. Okay, so there is definitely a housing crisis. Define housing crisis. There's not really housing, like we're building houses. Like for example, Newark has more houses now than it did when the population was bigger, but we're in a housing crisis. So when people say housing crisis, it's not we don't have the housing. It's that we don't have the affordable housing.
Right.
Affordable is a relative word, but actually it's not relative. There's something called the average medium income index. So it says, okay, what's the average income for an area? Housing should be affordable. The problem is, even if you make truly, I have clients who make 120, 100K. Like, bro, I want to buy a cool house. You can't buy much of a house. Even if you make 100K, you're making you need to buy 2-family. Because just to give you guys an idea, when you're online, on Zillow, maybe a few years, if you see a house for 450,000, which is average, that's a $3,500 mortgage, $3,600 mortgage. Now, think about $3,600 a month. A lot of money. If you make 100 grand, 3,600 a month times 12 is 36, whatever. It's like 43,000, 43 and change. So right there, if you make 100 grand after taxes, you really make 75. Your mortgage is 43. You're left with 37. Now you think about food, car, kids.
Even more.
Oh, you're dead.
Even more.
You're dead.
Yeah.
You're dead. You're dead. So there's a guy, very controversial figure, rightfully so, RFK, right? This guy, right?
Robert F.
Yeah, Robert F. Kennedy, right? Jr., right? This thing.
Yeah.
And he said something, though, that is the truest statement of any statement he's ever said. He said, the trajectory of America from big corporations is simply, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Own nothing and be happy. And you see that from institutional investors. You see that even from small investors. They just monopolize. you don't really own a house, but you rent a nice house,
Right.
you rent a nice apartment, and they have amenities, and you're happy. But you don't own anything. So yeah, that's it. Definitely happening. Do I contribute to it? Maybe. You can make the argument. I hope less. I think I kind of like to frame it in a way that's like I'm helping like the last generation get in,
Yeah.
or the second to last generation get in before it's like literally impossible to buy a house.
And has there been like any cases in your line of work where maybe this house or who you're selling it to maybe went against your values or your morals?
Yeah, there's a lot of racism in real estate for sure, like an unbelievable amount. Specifically with like landlord tenants. So I remember I was talking to this guy in the Ironbound,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Oh, find me a tenant." I really don't do a lot of rentals, but I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll find you a tenant." And the guy was like, "Yeah, but no Brazilians. You know, the Brazilians don't pay rent." Meanwhile, I'm a Brazilian, and there's just blatant racism. So like, complete racism at next level from when landlord to tenants is complete racism. There's no arguing. There's no like, "Oh, maybe this is not true."
Right.
Blatantly fact.
Yeah.
So those situations, and even the home buyers do the same racist things. They'll say like, "Well, I don't want to be in that area." When they say the area, they really just mean like, "I don't want to be in an area where there's like black people or brown people." That's what they mean, and they'll say that's not what they mean. And you think it's like the white person being racist against a black person? It's not true. This is sometimes the case, not really. It's actually just racism against everybody with everybody. Just racist, just complete prejudice, stereotyping, everything. It's insane. Like, and even it's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. But those times, I just kind of like I don't care anymore. I'm just kind of more unhinged. I'm like, wait, when you say those people, what do you mean? And I'll just say it like that. I'm like, oh, what do you mean by that? You think, Brendan. I'm like, oh yeah, just because I want to make sure. And I'll get them to say it out loud, and then I'll switch. I'll be like, oh no, listen, that's a little bit. That sounds really racist. Like, no, I'm not racist. I'm like, oh, of course not. Come on, guy.
Well, you're definitely.
Yeah, you're definitely just racist. Like,
Yeah.
this is the case. And you're just stereotyping, and they'll say things like, "Oh, I want to be part of my community." And I do think there's a validity to want to be like. We live in a very Brazilian section of Newark, right?
Mhm.
It's a very nice thing. I want my kids to grow up in my culture. It's a very nice thing. But there is, hey, if a Asian person moves into my culture, hey, dude, let's share culture. What are we talking about here? It's absurd.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely like the number one thing that just makes you feel sick.
Yeah. So I know that you said you're very religiously involved like younger, like after that big turn, and then even now, like how does religion like play into your day-to-day life?
Good question. The way you should think about this is less religion, more formation. So you guys are younger, right? Like 16, 17, I imagine 18, 19.
Yeah.
So like you're being formed. Think about like a river, right? River goes down. And there's like a boulder. And that boulder is smooth in some areas and jagged in others, right? And the river's just hitting that thing night and day over like 1,000 years. The boulder was shaped by the river. Okay? So what you learn as you grow is like your culture, your paradigm, your parents, everything in life, American values shaped you. They shaped you. So for me, when I say, Brian, what does that have to do with your faith? For me, I see like my following of Jesus as me getting out of the river I was born in and putting myself in a different river and say, okay, I want to be formed by the patterns of Jesus. I want to practice his habits. I want to, like, for example, something that's very rare in entrepreneurship. I take a full day of rest. Like if you're part of the Jewish culture, more likely than not, you practice what's called Sabbath. So Sabbath is Shabbat, right? It's like a full day, 24 hours, no work to be done. Technically, your employees are not supposed to work. You're like that serious. The Christians, we say, oh, to hell with Sabbath, it's more Jewish thing.
Right.
Unfortunately, even psychiatrists and all research shows taking a full day of rest once a week actually boosts productivity. So once a week, I go and my aim is to turn off my phone. I take a day fully to enjoy my wife, the kids, friends, family. I eat really good food and maybe some desserts like donuts or something, like delicious donuts at this place in Rutherford. Great donuts there called Erie Cafe. And I go to the park and I take a very slow day. I'm not watching TV that day. Ideally, I wouldn't even have to drive that day. I want to be slow. So you see how that really was different than the way I grew up, right? America, fast, 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 fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how faith really shapes me, because I look at the life of Jesus, and this guy's never in a hurry. He's on the road to a meeting, whatever, and you stop him and he takes time to have a whole conversation with you. That's one example, especially as an entrepreneur, of how the faith is very countercultural to what you think. Well, if I'm not busy, I'm not important. Like, no, you're actually valuable regardless. Like, you don't need to pretend you're busy just to be viewed as, you know what I mean, Matt? That's a trip.
So you believe in like you're heavy on like living in moment.
This is the pursuit. I don't know if I'm there
Yeah.
yet, but I try to pursue it as much as I can. Yeah, it's
Could you share a moment? No, not the moment. The story of your first closing deal.
great deal. Great deal. Good question. So I'm 4 months into real estate. At this time, remember, my brain's like fried, right? I just got in. I'm like, my brain is like tripping. I'm like, pray after me, right? Very scary
Yeah.
times in my life. But I'm busting my behind. 80 hours a week, locked in. Plus, I was waiting tables on the weekend, right? So I'm like 100 hours. I'm not exaggerating. Literally clocking in 100 hours. But like, that's the kind of work. Like
100.
literally insanity. And then what happens? For 4 months, I made a whopping, sorry for the camera, $0. And I pulled my 3.5 months. I put my friend aside. His name is João Carlos. He's actually a pastor, funny enough now. He got me into real estate. He left. Funny. So I was going in to be a pastor,
Yeah.
right? And then I became a realtor. He was going in to be a realtor, and then he became pastor. So it's like we swapped off the
Reverse.
callings. And funny enough, man, this guy, I have a full conversation with him. I'm like, hey, look, he actually paid for my real estate school. And I'm like, Joao, look, man, I love you. I appreciate you. I'll pay you the money back, but this is not for me.
Mm.
I got to make money. This is crazy. I'm wasting a lot of time. He goes, no, man, I hear you. I don't want you to pay me back the money, but can you do me a favor? I go, yeah. He goes, would you just do it for another month? I go, it's a little bit unrealistic. I mean, unreasonable for me to say no to a month. So I say, okay, I'll do it. And then a week later, I get a call saying, hey, a lead just came into office. They want to see this like $200,000 house an hour away. Do you want this lead? Like, you're the lowest guy in the totem pole. I'm like, yeah, this sounds amazing. He goes, tomorrow, 8 a.m. I say, I'll be there. I just show up. I'm like, hey, my name's Brendan. House. But the problem is when I got there, the guy's there, I shake his hand outside. I try to open the door. I don't have the little combo. I couldn't get in the house. I didn't have the key.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't lose this opportunity. So I actually break in the house. I go to the back. I open. I'm like, oh, I think the door's in the back. I try to open up windows. I'm like, duh. I like push against the door, try like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then finally, a window was open on the like elevator, so I just climbed up on the porch. And then I just opened up the window, got in.
Yeah.
Anything for that deal.
Anything for the
Yeah.
deal.
Anything.
And then that, funny enough, that offer was my first one that got accepted. Wow, yes. And then, sadly enough, the deal died.
Mm.
But then, thankfully, I made such a good impression. He's like, hey, Brendan, I'm going to find another house with you. Can we buy a house? And a week later, we got him under contract. We bought a house. I got a check for like, must have been about like $3,000 or $2,500, $2,000. I still feel like I've gotten checks, very large checks comparatively to $2,500.
Yeah.
And I still feel like that check was more significant than like, I got a check once for like 120K, 110K. And I was like, that check for 2,400 was like infinitely more.
Valuable.
Yeah, like it was just,
Like, did
There's
it
a-
have more sentimental value to you?
like for me, it had more monetary value. So you got to think like
Mm.
I worked for 4 months to make no money, right?
right.
So when you make no money, 2,400 is like infinitely more. But if you make like 100 and you make 200, it's like double. See what I'm saying? So like it was monetarily more significant. It was like,
Mm.
whoa, this is real. And then it just like, it unlocked something. But when do you get a 4-digit check? I never got a 4-digit check, right? It was a multi-force. It was it's not $800 check, pay period, right? It's $2,500 check, $3,000. I was like, whoa, that was a huge deal. Yeah, and the same thing when I got a $10,000 check, and then a $60,000 and $100,000. You're just like, oh my God, crazy. But really, that first check is what like makes you like, it like hooks you in. Like, whoa, this is
Right.
possible.
Do you think like basically like it kind of gave you that sliver of hope that you needed to keep continuing?
Oh, brother, I was
Oh.
I would not be here right now. I would be at like, I don't know what I'd be doing in my life. Yeah, I don't know. I was applying for jobs before I became a realtor, making $12 an hour, $13 an
Oh.
hour
Wow.
as a person who helped like mentally disabled, handicapped senior citizens. I was going to have to wash them. The reason why I didn't get a job after 3 rounds of interviews because I have a criminal record.
Yeah.
They said, hey, we can't hire you. I was like, this is so embarrassing. And that was the day I decided to be in real estate. It was a trip.
I have 2 questions, right? So when you first got into real estate, I'm assuming you got into like working under somebody else's business name, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So what kind of really drove you to the point of creating your own team and your own business in real
It
estate?
was just necessity. Because
Necessity?
like, for example, when you start, you have to do everything, right?
Right.
But then let's say this is a good way to do math. It's called how you measure your time.
Mhm.
So if you make $100,000 a year, let's say, for example, right? It's a lot of money. Whoa, killer money. You make 100,000. The average American works 2,080 hours a year. So you
Right.
divide 100,000 by, let's call it 2,000 just for even. You can make
Yeah.
$50 an hour. That's what it is. So I realized let's say I was making 100,000. I realized my time is worth $50, but I'm over here driving to put a for sale sign in the ground where I could pay Natasha $15 to do this.
Yeah.
So by me driving an hour there, I'm actually losing $35. How? $50 worth of time doing a $15 task. It's not worth it. I said, no, this is not worth it. And I thankfully had a lot of mentors around me. 2 really solid mentors around me who were like, dude, just hire an assistant. I'm like, I don't have the money for that. It's like, of course you have the money for that. It's a $50,000 hire. Like worst case scenario, you just have to sell a few more houses and it'll offset it. And that was that.
And so we have a theme for our podcast.
Okay.
It's called Democracy Takes Courage.
Oh,
So I just wanted to
let's
ask
get to the political table.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask you, like, what do you think that means? Well, to you, or how does it connect to you and what you do?
When you say democracy, what do you mean?
Democracy, as in like,
The power in the people.
yeah, power in the people, kind
Or
of like
People coming
putting up
together.
things that, well, facing things that aren't fair, trying to make a change for for yourself, for the people that are coming for the next generation, so it could be a better life for them.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would even say it takes courage. It takes more like selflessness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the challenge is, I would say, for like, especially for me right now, because I'm in the real estate space in Newark, and we're in
Yeah.
such a unique time as the city develops. What benefits the individual rarely benefits the community up front. So you think about like, there's a saying that goes, when you're young, if you're not a liberal, you don't have a heart. But when you get older, if you're not a conservative, you don't have a brain, right? I find I'd rather have a brain with a heart. I want both.
Yeah.
So like for me, I think that's really the dynamic. I do find it really depressing, honestly. You find it so often, especially in like my industry, right? Real estate, where home ownership is more than just a wealth building. It's a community stakeholder, right? So if you really want like, hey, we're creating a more equitable society for all, that's actually what I believe is the best case scenario for the world. It's not like, because you can say things are meritocracy, right? It's like, well, you get, that's not true. It's like a myth, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's so much I could say about that. But even now, it's like a doctor used to make like, let's say 3 times more than a nurse. Now a doctor makes 10 times more than a nurse. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So democracy really comes to like equitable in all areas. So equitable wages, right? So it's not like you have a huge pay gap between senior leadership and an employee, but you have like a right? You see what I'm saying? In the real estate world, though, more than ever, we're seeing a lot, especially with the housing crisis you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel like there is any democratic, like, there's a lot of initiatives, very low ground. So let's say there's 100 units of effort, they make like 5 units of progress.
Yeah.
So it's really discouraging, honestly.
Yeah.
But there
You-
is hope.
No, it's okay. Continue.
No, please.
You have any advice for people who want to get into what you're doing or any type of realtor business,
Yeah, for sure. The best.
specifically our age?
Yeah, young. I'll tell you right now, be a waiter or a bartender and get into cold calling as soon as possible. Yeah, that would be it. Like waiter at like, not like a nice restaurant,
Right.
but like a restaurant that's like super fast paced.
Yeah.
People are yelling at you in the kitchen. And
Yeah.
like you, like for me, it was Buffalo Wild Wings, Dave and Buster's, like just and be a waiter for like a solid year.
Is there any reason for that?
Yeah,
Specifically?
like the most important skill, highest paid people on earth.
Yeah.
Like on average, right? So
Yeah.
of course you have like Jeff Bezos, I don't know, are 2 people. They're always the same. That's my experience. They're not doctors or lawyers, any of this. Even doctors I know that make $1 million, I know salespeople who make $2 million.
Mm.
So the highest are sales, the highest earned skills in today's world. Maybe when AI continues, maybe then I'm wrong. But right now, it's sales and marketing. So if you can get people to be interested in a product, that's marketing. If you get the interested people to buy the product, that's sales. All of that requires deep, fundamental people skills. But it's more than just real estate. If you want to be ahead in life, if you want to marry, if you want to, you need to be able to be good with people. So it's not you're born this way. That's a big misnomer. Oh, you're a people person. You're born that way. You're talkative. That's absurd.
Yeah.
You're telling me I was born with advanced questioning skills and listening skills. Then why do therapists go and sit down and take literally classes on how to listen to people? Why? If they were born, it's absurd. So the best waiting tables is a fast-paced environment that gives you grit, that teaches you a lot about human nature, right? About psychology, and about how to read someone, right? That's why I would recommend waiting tables would be the best way. For your age, I would say wait tables and get into cold calling as soon as possible. That'd be the best thing you could do. And if you don't want to wait tables and you don't want to cold call, an unbelievable job opportunity, I would say, is take a summer or even like 4, 5, 6 months of your year and go door knocking in the Midwest. So you just like knock on doors selling solar or roofing or whatever, and it would just make you a beast. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know with the people saying you're born like a natural talker or a people person. Me personally, I don't believe in that because my father always told me everything in this life is learned. You're not really born with anything.
So true.
You know what I mean?
So true.
But I do want to thank you for your time today here with us. I had a very interesting conversation. I learned a lot from you today.
Oh, cool.
I appreciate that.
No, it was my pleasure.
I definitely will put this to use later.
Oh, come on. Buy some houses. All right.
For sure.
Thank you guys. I appreciate
Maybe
it.
sell some.
Oh,
Thank you so
and
much.
sell some. Yeah.
100%, yeah.
Okay.